fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rhythm, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Six very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Car turbo cunt. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Ozicar Turbo Touring Car iRacing Series. Round 3 of our 5th season takes us to the Daytona road course, a track that has been in the news quite a bit as of late for the addition of a new chicane out of oval turn 4. But that's for the NASCAR vehicles, which have brake pedals that frankly are terrible. We've got at least some braking capability in our TCR cars today, so we're not using it. We're using the normal 24-hour layout here at Daytona. And you'll see 2 races live right here on Simspeed TV. My name is Ryan Jones. Alongside me in the booth is Nick, whose last name I've forgotten how to pronounce, so he's just called Nick tonight. And here's the Daytona track. Feel free to jump in at any point, Nick.
That's right. Here we are in sunny Florida, Ryan. So yeah, 13 turns, some pretty famous parts of the track, like the front stretch, the bus stop, the back stretch, and the Rodriguez International Horseshoe. So yeah, some pretty long track as well, 5.7 kilometers. Seeing pretty fast lap around the track at the moment. We've seen it. Most of the guys are in a 158. We did have Jake Cool in practice. Oh, sorry, in qualifying. Just dip under that into the 157.9. So, yeah, really stacked field, pretty close qualifying. So, in for a really good one.
We certainly are. Starting this race is going to be interesting as well on the banking. Let's take a look at our starting grid for race 1, because they are on the grid now. J. Cool is on the pole. Kobe Williams will start alongside him. Bailey Sweeney starts only 3rd ahead of Mario Vartanian on the outside of row 2. John Schultz and Anthony Contarino starting 5th and 6th ahead of Reese Howe and Tim Cont. Richard Hunter and Philip Backett-Sulis are 9th and 10th.
Just outside the top 10, Daniel Hederschild and Stuart Crawford. Cameron Thornton, Dennis Hancock, Ira Felberg, and Matthew Spencer on row 9. Isaac Edwards, Thomas Martin, not registering a lap. Jack Patterson in 20th.
Jonathan Hancock bringing up the rear of the field. Weather conditions, typically cool, calm and collected here in Ozicar. Estimated race distance of about 7 laps. Or rather, it will be 7 laps. So they'll change to a lap format this season. It's a straight up sprint race though. No pit stops required. Getting away from the field going to be crucial because we've seen time and time again how easy it is to lose the lead on the final lap with that major run out of the bus stop all the way through oval 3 and 4, about 1.25 miles until the start finish line. There's the start, and it is banked up on the tri-oval. It's not flat here at Daytona. Watch for a few guys to slip their way off the line. As time runs out, revs rise, lights come on. Let's get ourselves underway under the lights at Daytona. Away we go, and that is an awkward start indeed, but it's a good one for Jay Cool and for Kobe Williams. Bailey Sweeney, not a good jump. He's going to lose out to Vartanian around the outside of turn 1. Here we go.
Yeah, we've just seen a few of the guys with a bit of wheel spin off the line, and it has pulled them in down that banking a little bit, and we've just seen a car go off into the pit exit. So that's Matthew Spencer. Pretty unfortunate. Slips back to the back of the field, back to 19th position.
I think he actually kept it off the fence mostly there, so he actually got away with that reasonably well. As we're on board with Sweeney now, after losing out the 3rd spot right off the line on that inside. He struggled to keep the car straight. Vartanian ahead of him. Just up the road, Williams still chasing down Jay Cool. That's your top 4. Reese Howe has gone 7th to 5th and sits behind them after about half of our first laps. And not a good... sorry, that is a good jump from him to get ahead of John Schultz. And Anthony Contarino, who started 6th, well, he's now 8th. So he had a bit of a messy start himself.
Yeah, a bit typical as well. So seeing the 4 again of Cool, Williams, Vartanian and Sweeney. So we're pretty dominant in last week's race, and they've already split the rest of the field by about a second to Reese Howe in 5th.
That's a weird camera angle. Into the bus stop then. That's more likely. Right as they jump on the brakes, and there's a bit of contact, door to door. And Vartanian goes through the bus stop. And Sweeney will get the exit, and Vartanian might have to serve a slowdown for that, because Sweeney was looking up the inside through the braking zone, and then they came together, and he had nowhere to go but through. And there's him off the pace now with that slowdown, and that's going to allow John Schultz, Reese Howe to go by. They've got to run on Sweeney as well, so Sweeney might end up losing out here, because here comes Reese Howe to the outside. Schultz backs out of it. Howe wants to take it away. Side by side across the stripe and into turn 1. Always tricky to go side by side through here. And they do it. And Howe still got the car with an overlap as we look at a modem simulation replay.
Yeah, we're just looking at the back of the field from Philip. Oh, sorry, we're on live images here with
Blame Jay.
Richard Hunter as well.
He's commentating lesson number 1, Nick. If something goes wrong, blame Jay.
We're just capturing all the action, and there's action and plenty that we have at the moment as we have.
Wait, Kirby Williams to the lead of the race, takes it away from Jay Cool. Can he? They're side by side at the moment. Outside for Cool. It should give him a great run though. Onto the oval as he turns it in. Williams has to lead for now. Will they cross the line in that order, though? Could be a little bit of a losing battle for Williams in front of Cool now.
Yeah, Cool in the right place at the right time, though, with that great draft. These cars are hitting nearly around 240 k's an hour, maybe just a whisker under, as they're hard on the brakes here coming through the bus stop. So throw it left, throw it right, and then right again. So as we saw on that last lap as well, those track limits are so tight as well. We saw Contarino with just tapping the grass before and unfortunately getting a slowdown. So yeah, you've got to really be on it.
It was interesting. Williams drove into the bus stop very hard and was slow on the exit, whereas Jay Cool was slow on the entry and very fast on the exit, as Bailey Sweeney, you just saw, picked up a slowdown as well through the bus stop. So he drops to 5th place as Cool got the momentum, but opted not to make the move on Kobe Williams. He might want to sit in 2nd all the way until the final lap of the race and then pull the trigger on that final lap. So right now, there's your top 2, leading by about a 1.5 seconds back to Reese Howe and 3rd, John Schultz. Crawford gets up to 5th. Cormac Hattershide. Sweeney has gone back to 8th place ahead of Vartanian in 9th.
Yeah, and looks like Hattershide just up the inside there of Tim, but he seems to be just holding on there, and he's fall back. So yeah, Hattershide and Tim with a pretty big run down that little straight there.
Oh, Sweeney's out of shape. That was a very late move from one of them that left Sweeney all sorts of sideways, getting into the braking zone, and he somehow gets it done without any contact. That was Hattershide losing that spot. This is a nice little train of cars from, well, you could almost say from 3rd on back, but I think really from 5th back at the moment. Here's the lead.
Yeah, Howe's on a bit of a run at the moment, so...
Yeah, he's gained half a second on this lap already as our 3rd place driver, as Cool might have recognised that, and that's why he pulled the trigger into the bus stop. Bad news, mate. You're going to get run over on the exit of the bus stop if Kobe wants that spot back. Looks like he's happy to wait, so they'll run single file for now at least. Gap is under a second. Make it 0.6 of a second. Back to Reese Howe. Won't be surprised if this is the fastest lap of the race so far from the driver of that 29 car. Once it crosses the line, he's in the tow now as well. He is racing down to the start-finish line. Almost 10 kilometers an hour quicker than those drivers as he comes across the line and gets to the outside of Kobe Williams. Fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 57.4.
Yeah, Reese Howe absolutely pulling so much time there on those leader. Yeah, it was all 2 seconds quicker on that lap between Kobe Williams and Jay Cool. So really reeling him in. So we're shaping up for a really good 3-car battle. And I just saw John Schultz there in the background running slightly wide. Just casting my eyes down the field again, header shoulders look to have dropped another couple of places. Oh, he's back up in 10th. So that's Infinity. Yeah, just as I said that, I think he just got a bit of a nudge behind. But, oh, sorry, that was Stuart Crawford. Yeah, so, yeah, this Infinity cars, the 111 cars getting bumped around and pushed around a little bit in this early race.
This is starting to look a little bit feisty and dicey as there's one off the track, there's one slow, right as we cut away to the replay. And this was Crawford losing out to Vartanian and thinking he was clear a bit earlier than he was. He checked up. Tim Cord and Contarino almost came together in that as well. So on the replay, because Contarino had a slide through the corner, went off the track on the exit of the corner. There's the slide. And then Crawford was slow as well. And 2 cars through the middle. We'll take that spot away. Not Crawford, sorry, header shade. He just saw it there. It's back at Sulis. Tried to capitalise and just got caught out on the exit. Either way, this pack is not showing many signs of dissipating anytime soon. Back on board with Reese Howe, sitting in 3rd. Stalking our leaders who've switched around again. Kobe versus Cool to the outside. Jay Cool with the run and with lap led. Not quite. 0.05 of a second between them at the line that time by in favour of Jay Cool.
Here we go, up the inside Reese House. So looks like he's made that move there on Cool. Can Cool keep the overlap through these this little cross through? But as you can see, that number 1 against the side of Cool's car, losing 2 positions just in the one and a couple of corners there. Just holding onto, just holding that overlap now over Reese Howe. So John Schultz has pulled himself right into this mix now. So this 3-car battle is fast turning into this 4-car battle.
Yeah, a quartet battling it out with 2.5 laps to go in race 1. The Ozicar Turbo Touring Car Series from Daytona International Speedway. Onto the brakes. Through one of the most critical corners on the circuit. Paired up with the bus stop as well, which leads onto a giant straight. Both of them, from there to the bus stop, and from the bus stop to the start and finish line, are about 1.2 miles in length. The track as a whole, the oval, is 2.5 miles long, and we use all but about 100 meters of it here on the road course. Into the bus stop. Williams with a bit of a gap to Reese Howe on this lap, but quickly shutting down out of the bus stop. A mistake from Howe. That's going to allow Cool to get alongside him, and it's good news for Kobe, who should be comfortable down into turn 1 this lap.
Yeah, but even with this battle up the front, so Vartanian and Sweeney won't be able to close this. We've probably just run out of just that few too many laps for them to close in on those, to get those seconds in on every lap. They will be a little bit quicker than this front group as we see them come around now. They're going to be 2 wide again, 2 by 2 into turn 1.
Okay, misjudged that. Williams very much was under pressure into turn 1 that lap. Runs a bit wide, so did Howe. Best run, give it to Jay Cool in 3rd. Alongside Howe, can he split the gap, get to the inside of Kobe? No, he can't. They're 3 wide. That was a late dive from Reese, and he gets into him. He turns him sideways, but Kobe Williams hangs on to it. Reese Howe into the lead of the race with a little bit of contact.
Yeah, Race How definitely getting those elbows out. I'd be curious to know if race control are going to let that move stick. But
Hope
yeah,
so.
huge dive and really strong under brakes. And he did manage to
Oh,
make it work as
Kobe.
Kobe Williams down the inside again. So really big battle now of the late breakers.
That was a massive dive from Williams to get that spot back. Probably a little bit displeased about the way Howe took it away from him down at turn 4, which I think might have been off the back of a mistake. I don't know if he actually meant to go up the inside at that particular time. Penultimate time up and on the oval. Vartanian in 5th, still 3.9 seconds away. Lapping not quick enough to catch these guys. Is now to the quarter panel. This will slow Williams down and gives the impression of Howe going faster than he already is. Not
Oh,
quite able to clear him into the bus stop. And they get very tight on the entry. Williams just lays off and then gets to the outside on the exit. That was very tight to contact again. And again, the best run is the third place man, Jay Cool, but as he goes up the racetrack, it disintegrates. He'll cut back down and wait for that toe to take effect again.
I was actually quite surprised there for Reese Howe. So Schultz did stay off the throttle there to stay in 4th, but I was surprised that Howe didn't get a slowdown on that because he did hit the grass pretty hard. But as you can see, it's a bit of a, as we're going to see for the, now that we're going to be on the final lap, into the last corner, where's the best position to be? Is it going to be best being the front wheel, or is it going to be best being second or third wheel behind?
Third or fourth. That's my
Third
bet.
or fourth. Yeah, so...
Yeah, by the way, it's down to 3 seconds to our 5th place drivers who are side by side in the background. There it is. Vartanian and Sweeney, not John Schultz, but that's the gap from 4th to 5th, 1.9. I just don't think they can quite get there. Reese Howe leads the train now. Williams 2nd, Cool 3rd, Schultz 4th. My eye is on those two.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great for Schultz to get this move into a podium position? He has hung back a little bit, so yeah, might be in with a really good run. He did qualify 5th, so...
The exit onto the oval from Kobe Williams. He got to the left-hand side of Reese Howe, and they're running wheel to wheel now. Look at the gap that Kult's got. He's going to shut that down very quickly. Schultz, a similar gap behind him. Into the bus stop. If they run side by side, they are going to lose all sorts of time to those two behind. Howe versus Williams into the braking zone. I'd want to be second, and it will be Howe in second. Williams goes a bit too deep. He cuts across it. That's going to be a slowdown. It also slows Howe down on the exit. He's in a very awkward spot now. Here comes J. Cool with the run. Where's he go? Looks high, looks low, all the way down below the yellow line. And John Schultz comes with him. Down on the apron. Is that even legal? I don't think it is, but they're down there anyway. Williams, he's coming back, but does he have a slowdown or a time penalty? 2 by 2. Reese Howe, looking to the outside, gets into him, hooks him sideways. He holds onto it. Kobe Williams wins race 1.
Great work there by Kobe Williams. I swear he would have got a slowdown on that. So whether or not he was like slightly easing off the throttle there to gain those seconds away, but yeah, pretty spectacular finish that one. So we just see some of the mid runners come through there. Great work there by Kobe Williams.
Interesting. The decision to go down to the bus stop might have actually been what ruined it for those two drivers, because they had a pretty poor run coming off the banking. Williams wins then by 0.08 of a second. Back to Reese Howe. J. Cool coming home in 3rd. John Schultz in 4th. 0.2 cover that quartet. Vartanian and Sweeney in the end were 2.6 back, and they finished side by side as well, based off that time between them. Richard Hunter coming home in 7th, head of Crawford in 8th, Tim Court and Anthony Contirino 9th and 10th.
Isaac Edwards in 11th, Matthew Spencer, Ira Felberg, and Daniel Hedderschild, Cameron Thornton, Dennis Hancock, and our non-finishers, Philip Bakadasoulis, Jack Patterson, Thomas Martin, not finishing.
Jonathan Hancock never making it to the green flag. Well, after that, we'll take a break. here on Simspeed TV. Stay with us because we're coming back ready to do it again. Race 2 coming up on the other side of this.
North Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this 0.625-mile racetrack. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 9 Coors Ford qualifying and Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. His second win of 1987.
fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up top
Oh my
here.
god! Oh, big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, here we go. Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Welcome back to an even darker Daytona than what we left with here in the Ozicar Turbo Touring Car Series. We're now well and truly under the guide of the lights. After a incredible finish to race 1, we're getting ready to do it all again in race 2. And here's how the championship looked after round 2. So this doesn't take into account what we just saw. Bailey Sweeney headed in with a 3-point lead over Mario Vartanian. And then a bit of a gap back to Kobe Williams of about 15 points. And then from there on back, it's very, very tight. Crawford, Hunter, Reese Howe, Tim Corn, Heddershide, Spencer, and Witt. So I expect that might close up a little bit again in the championship. And I tell you who's not there, Jay Cool. And he was well and truly a part of race 1, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'll just see what happens with, we had a few of the guys cross that apron as they cross the finish line. So, yeah, not too sure whether it's going to put Cool and stuff as we're looking back towards Florida on the eastern side of Florida, right up against the beach. So Daytona Beach, normally pretty hot. We're in the dark at the moment, so it's a little bit cooler around, I think it was about 25 degrees. Opened in 1959, current configuration since 1985. Very spectacular for NASCAR and 24-hour racing. There we go, under lights. 14 turns, some pretty famous corners. Some live images now of the series admin, RF Elberg.
Yep. And he will be looking to maybe try and latch on to that top 10 battle in this race after there were some pretty big scraps in that first one, not just for the lead, but from third on back, we saw plenty of action as well, including quite a little bit of a beat and bang. It was all reasonably clean, which was good to see, and clean at the front as well, given the average age of those race leaders, which shows just how quickly you're able to get some experience and racecraft under your belt here in iRacing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We did hear a few calls out from race control in the last couple of laps, so unfortunately we didn't really, there was so much going on in the front that we didn't really get the chance to catch it. So just looking at Thomas Martin putting a lap in. Not too sure where he came in the first lap. This is his out lap, so getting those tyres up to temperature.
Richard Hunter, he's on a lap. He should be the first driver to set a lap time. That comes the big caveat of getting through the bus stop without picking up an off track. He's racing the plane, and somehow the plane does not win. It also looked like it was moving at a very weird rate of knots through the bus stop. That looks nice and clean from Hunter. Now it's just foot to the floor, hold your breath, have a drink, make a tea, and eventually you'll hit that start-finish line.
Oh, that kettle. TCR cards are pretty quick. Not too sure if it was as fast as a Boeing.
Doubting that. Takeoff speed, I think, is somewhere around the region of 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, and we're seeing these TCR cars. I think it was about, pretty much bang on 240 k's an hour as they come through. We'll see a few of the cars that are in that really key draft, which is
240 k's being about 70 kilometers an hour shy of being 200 miles per hour. So I think iRacing needs to remodel its plane physics for Daytona. Anthony Contarino across the line, 1 minute 59.078. That puts him 5th, just behind Richard Hunter, whose first lap is stacking up pretty well.
Yeah, just seeing him shuffle through now. So we did see in the first qualifying session, Jay Cool just dipping into that 1 minute 57. So Kobe Williams not too far off with a 58 140, so possibly I reckon we'll see a couple of cars this time hit the 157s.
Hey, I wasn't far off with my 200 mile per hour guess. An A380 takes off at about that, and a 747 takes off at about 184 miles per hour.
How quick are the NASCARs going around on that part of that straight there, Ryan?
200 mile an hour.
Ah. 200 mile an hour, you could almost say that's takeoff speed.
It is.
It is
It
takeoff
very
speed.
much is
It's not
sometimes.
almost.
Have you seen some of their crashes? Isaac Edwards will be
That's right.
hoping not to take off in that particular sense today. He'll be hoping to take off. And in terms of his speed, though, he needs a bit more to, like Ira, latch himself onto that top 10 battle here in race 2. A 25-minute-ish race, 12 laps in length, means a pit stop is required for a minimum of 2 tyres. Won't see anyone take more than 2 tyres, we should note as well, because you'll lose too much time. So pit stop's going to be a factor as well, which could potentially either compress or string out battles throughout the field. We'll see how that plays out as our Zach Edwards comes across the line, and how my autoglass race in Ozicar goes 14th.
Yeah, so we haven't really seen a lap yet from our series leader, Bailey Sweeney.
I mean, he's
Once we have-
second.
Sorry, we have seen a lap, so it is a pretty quick one. Yeah, did feel like he was almost a little bit robbed on race 1 because he definitely had the pace there. So yeah, a few mistakes unfortunately pushed him down into, I think it was 5th place. So for a bit of redemption there for Bailey Sweeney.
Kobe Williams, currently fastest. It was Jay Cool that got the pole, I think, for race 1, and Kobe started second. Thomas Martin is 16th, and as Thomas Martin crosses the line, he will stay 16th. He was a tenth slower than his first lap, and is now beginning his final lap. Back at Sulis, back to Sweeney, coming into Oval 1 and 2. Tim Korn is just a bit up the track in his own little universe, quite literally. Can't see Sweeney. Korn was a part of that big group in race 1 in the mid-pack and had a pretty respectable finish. He's been pretty consistent so far this season as he stomps on the brake pedal. A nice arrow on the fence telling him to go left, but the car wanted to go right. He could see the slide as he washed out, trying to tip it into the bus stop. That'll cost him a little bit, but crucially, it was on the entry, not the exit. If it happened on the exit, you'd be leaking time all the way down to the start-finish line.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm just catching on the images just for a little bit further back. We haven't had a lap set yet by Jay Cool, so
Oh, yeah.
he's just coming around now at the moment.
Well, that's... Vartanian goes to provisional pole with a 158.051. That's 900ths quicker than Kobe. And yeah, Nick, you're right. Jay Cool, he's on his final attempt now. He's picked up an off-track or a loss of control on his first 2 laps. This doesn't seem like a great lap from him. As he crosses the line, it's a 2:06. Jay Cool, 18th fastest from pole to dead last.
Yeah, and it does look like he's going to abort now, so that'll be his
No more
laps
attempts.
done. Yeah, so no more attempts of that. So we'll be starting at the moment from 18th position, providing if Jack Patterson puts a lap in. So yeah, it does not look like we'll see Jay Cool be battling for the front like we did in race 1, as we're seeing a little bit more of Thomas Martin improving on his time.
We could see Jay Cool. We've seen plenty of drivers go from the back to the front in Ozicar competition, certainly in race 2. If you get an early pit stop, you can get yourself into some clean air and run as if you were potentially and pretend you're leading the race if no one in front of you. If you pit early, or you can go late. There's plenty of options, but he's going to have some rapid pace if he wants to make it happen. And the draft dependency of this circuit might make it quite a bit harder than some of the other tracks on this all-star schedule for Season 5. Here's your starting grid for race 2. Vartanian on the pole. His mate, Kobe Williams, will start alongside him. Richard Hunter and John Schultz will line up on the second row of the grid. Bailey Sweeney, Adderese Howe start 5th and 6th. Anthony Contarino and Tim Korn on row 4. Matthew Spencer, Stuart Crawford, 9th and 10th.
Philip Bakasoulis and Ira Felberg on row 6, Daniel Hedderschild, Dennis Hancock on row 7, Cameron Thornton, Thomas Martin, Isaac Edwards, and Jay Cool rounding out the field.
A team looking for the start here in race number 2. So expect drivers to go longer than about halfway, or look for halfway. Again, that transition, when the series first came to fruition, drivers pitted very early. Now it seems to be as late as you can go. Whether that remains today with the draft dependency of this track, well, we're going to see. We've got about a minute and a half until we get to the green flag here. Weather conditions are almost identical from race 1, albeit a little bit later on in the evening. Thanks again to Simspeed Prestige Trophy and Sideways Photography for their support of the series. As always, making this possible for us, for you, for the drivers. And remember, that starting grid is not so great. It is in the middle of the banking, and the banking for the tri-oval at Daytona is far from flat. It's... I ran out of words to fill as I searched up. It's 18 degrees. So, you know, that's quite a bit. That's the banking of some turns at a lot of ovals that NASCAR go to. So, very steep. Helps the cars maintain their speed through there. Helps, in theory, I think, to glue them to the racetrack. But it does make life difficult for a standing start.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Ryan. We did see a few cars with that wheel spin on the front, and it almost pulls them very hard to the left downwards. So,
yeah,
you've really got to be quite ginger off the line.
Well, that's called gravity.
It is called gravity. That's exactly right. So, talking physics, you're talking before as well. No tire degradation, really, as it's pretty cold temperatures. So,
and a short race as well.
Yeah, a bit unlike Florida at this time of year. Usually it'd be
scorching hot. Here we go then. Race 2, green flag in the air. And drivers get away a little bit straighter than they did in race 1, so they've adjusted well. Vartanian will lead Williams into turn 1. Hunter fending off Schultz. Bailey Sweeney trying to get by Schultz on the inside for 1. As we go through, it's all clean from your top half a dozen, and Schultz will fend off Sweeney. We'll have to look out for Reese Howard behind him.
Yeah, potentially Schultz might have got an off track for that. He was pretty aggressive there on that slight chicane as we're watching him come out of the horseshoe now. Looks like everyone's through pretty cleanly, Ron.
Really impressed with Schultz today, showing a lot of pace, front-running pace. And looking like a real contender as Reese Howe sets himself up to go the long route. That doesn't work. Partly in cause of Bailey Sweeney having a fantastic run through that particular corner. Out onto the oval. Wow, that is a mind trip, the back of that race car. I don't know if that's a carbon fiber paint job or what, but that is tripping me out. Could be my headache, but either way. No more of that, please. Freeze how.
Looks very slick there, the carbon fiber 3K print there. Might be a bit hard to zoom in while he's driving so fast, but just seen him come now, hard on the brakes into the bus stop.
Oh, Jay, sod off. With the bus stop, that's through there nicely. Oh, hey, where's Kobe Williams gone? He's just appeared on the left-hand side of my screen from the grass. Well, why was he out there? This is the question we need to ask ourselves, and he's going to cost himself a lot of time. Slowdowns on lap 1 are tremendously big. And when you go as far off the track as he did, well, he's going to find himself way off the leading group.
Yeah, it looks like he did have plenty of space there to Vartanian. Yeah, just understeering on that right-hander a little bit, but yeah, would have copped a very big slowdown there. He did cut off quite a lot of that grass there, so pretty unfortunate for Kobe Williams, but pretty early days yet. We've still got over 20 minutes of racing to go and a pit stop, as we'll see cool under pressure there by two of the 111.
How about
Simspeed
his
cars.
first lap? +10.
Yeah, Jay Cool on an absolute blinder at the moment. So
And now he is right behind Kobe Williams, who started second and is now 7th. So contrasting opening laps to those two drivers. Just behind them is some of the battling for 12th on back. Thomas Martin looking at RFL to make it 11th. A little bit of a dent on the right rear of that Xfinity 111 eSports car, so I wonder if Martin's already given him the hurry up.
yeah, I was just recalling. I don't think the artwork kind of really looked like that with that little uptick, but yeah, a few of the Xfinity 111 cars all bunched together at the moment, with Crawford, Hedderschild, and Felberg in 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Tell you what,
Sorry, Ryan.
sorry, J. Cool and Kobe Williams will be well served to work together here. And that's exactly what they're doing. Bump drafting. Giving each other more speed. Slowing neither of them down, speeding both of them up. So they're going to try and work together, hopefully, for their sakes, to get up to those leading 5 or 6 drivers. And they should get there pretty quickly if they continue to bump draft this racetrack. Got to be careful not to lock bumpers, though. Bang! Vartanian gets a big shove from Bailey Sweeney. Hard into the back of him. That's 2 race lead.
Yeah, someone I've just noticed that's made a pretty good run there is Richard Hunter.
Oh, he sent him.
Oh,
He catch it. That is a wild moment. And how on earth has he saved it? Mario Vartanian. Fantastic job. And Sweeney might want to reconsider his bump drafting services. And maybe tone the aggression down a fraction.
yeah, well, he's a championship leader, but also pretty aggressive with his passing. So maybe he was just a little bit too going a little bit too hard there with his
I reckon.
bump drafting.
Vartanian moved up the track.
Especially that transition there into turn 1.
He got the apron. He tagged the apron. That's what's happened, and that's actually lowered his car, or sort of, edged him down the racetrack, which meant Sweeney ended up in his right rear. And as he corrected, he swiped across in front of Sweeney's car, which is what unsettled him. Stuart Crawford's gone for a spin. He's facing the wrong direction now, and that's going to drop him towards the back of the field. How's he ended up there? That's Kobe Williams right in front of him, who had been passed by Jay Cool, gets into the back of him, couldn't slow down, and whack! I reckon that was Daniel Hedderschild. It was.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate there for Stuart Crawford. And yeah, with these Audis, it's very tricky to right them the right way, especially if you're facing the wrong way, I guess you could say. So, yeah, Hedderschild there with a pretty big bang there. You can see he's a little bit of a bent steering arm, so definitely not what you want.
Yep, he's going to come back to pit lane, get that car repaired. Jay Cool opted to go past Kobe Williams, and he's driven away from him. He's got a lot more pace, but he is currently lapping about a second slower than Schultz, Contarino, Howe, Hunter, Vartanian, and Sweeney. That's your leading group as Hunter comes to pit road. Do you want to pit by yourself? I reckon not, but he will anyway. See how this works out for him. First driver to pit then. This time, no one out of control into the first corner. As looking up the inside was Anthony Contarino and Reese Howe. Couldn't quite complete the move. Howe still got the car there. Now he completes it. Howe's going to try to come back, though, and Contarino just moved across the braking zone, and Reese Howe's jam on that brake pedal.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to cross to a replay of that there run by Modern Simulation. Yeah, they were almost, you could say 3 wide there into turn 1, all taking slightly different lines there. So, oh, sorry, this is further back in the field anyway. So,
yeah,
Matthew Spencer and R. Felberg by the looks of it, yeah. So a few scraps here, there, and everywhere. So not only at the front of the pack, but also shooting for that top 10 position, or top 7 position, sorry.
I was like Edwards had a front row seat to that little exchange that time. Jay Cool, 58.4. 59.4 for Schultz, 58.8. He's lapping about what he needs to if he wants to catch them, slowly but surely. As again, Sweeney and Vartani are into the back of each other as Contarino has to fend off Reese Howe's advances. Top 4 have gapped Schultz by just a little bit, but he'll close back up thanks to that draft. That's where Hunter's rejoined. He's 14th. Remember, he's pitted. So bookmark that as we wait for everyone else to make their trip to pit lane for that 4 of 12. So a third of the way through this race. Will we see anyone make the left-hand turn? Vartanian comes. Reese Howe reacted to him, I think, and comes as well.
Almost didn't think Reese Howe was going to pull it up in time. There's a big slide as he came into that pit lane there, so
Judged it very well.
pretty fast part of the circuit there, as we see a few other cars now.
It's top speed, isn't it? You're coming in to pit lane at the top of the range that these cars can do. And they're very thankful about the braking performance these TCRs have, because NASCAR go piling in there at 200 mile an hour, 300 Ks, and they were terrible brakes. Again, part of the reason why I added a chicane right before that particular bit of the racetrack for the road course this weekend. We are using the 24-hour Rolex layout, the IMSA layout, whatever you want to call it, the normal one. Cameron Thornton has been elevated to 5th with those pit stops.
That's right, it's the ones with the left and right hand turns.
They've all got left and rights, Nick. And as you heard, NASCAR are going road course racing this weekend. So Matthew Spencer comes out of pit road. Well, I imagine this is behind the other guys that pitted. He will rejoin next to Tim Corns. There's Hunter. Now, where's Williams? Williams is pitted and is not that far. Oh, yeah, he is. He's 5.5 seconds back. So that's quite a big gap between himself and Hunter, who has lost out quite a lot to Vartanian and Reese Howe. About 2 seconds, it looks like. Maybe a little bit more.
I'm just trying to work out what's pushed Kobe Williams so far back behind Hunter there. I know Hunter was at
The slowdown on that one.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, you're right. He was pushed down a little bit as we see Jay Cool up into 4th position now. So he'll be, whether or not he'll want to try and stick it out a little bit further before hitting the pits, he'll almost, if he stays where he is, he'll almost be the leading car on the track. So Contarino
and Sweeney.
Now in the pits.
That leaves John Schultz as the only driver yet to pit from that leading 5 or leading 6 that we had. Following them into the lane is Cameron Thornton. This will elevate Jay Cool up the order. Nope, he's pitted as well. There's Vartanian and Reese Howe. Let's see where Sweeney, where Contarino rejoin the racetrack. Going past pit entry now. They've got to drive around the pit exit. It's a long way around. Out of pit road comes Sweeney. These guys are doing nearly 250 Ks an hour, but Sweeney, I think, might have them covered. Out of turn 1. Look at that. Bailey Sweeney. Great pit stop phase. But he hasn't broken free of the draft. That's crucial for Vartanian and Howe. They should be able to close back up on the oval.
Yeah, some pretty aggressive driving there by Reese Howe, covering that line really well. So
Contarino fell a lot.
Yeah, Contarino still on the back of there of Reese Howe's.
No, that's Richard Hunter. So Contarino's fallen behind Hunter in his pit stop, and he pitted right behind Sweeney. So wonder what's happened to him to lose all of that pace. He was, how much longer was that, Jay? Sorry,
3 seconds.
3 seconds longer in pit lane. Wonder if he took 4 instead of 2 tires.
Yeah, it could be a costly mistake there, as we're seeing some live images here of Reese Howe and Vartanian. Vartanian right in that draft. You can almost see that front bar a little bit bent up from some of the bump drafting that they were doing earlier on in the race.
Yeah, and the back bumper too, and where Sweeney got hard into it in those first couple of laps. Schultz continues for another chip around. Felberg will come to the lane from 2nd. Thomas Martin will stay out. Back at Sulis will pit. 2 drivers yet to make the stop then. John Schultz and Thomas Martin. Then, our effective race leader sitting in 3rd. Once they pass Feltberg back to us on pit road. Sweeney, and then Reese Howe, Vartanian, already closing the gap to the race leader. Oh, turns him around. Reese Howe. Can he keep it off the fence? He can. Rejoins up on the banking.
Almost thought he was going to come back, but
What a save.
yeah, I think they'll will be looked at pretty harshly there, but great work there by Howe.
Here's the replay. Vartanian, the key here is who moved to trigger the spin. Well, no one. Honestly, I don't think anyone deserves a penalty for that. That'd be my opinion. Just a case of bump drafting occasionally goes wrong. And there was no damage to either car. A redress from Vartanian might solve the issue. Either way, let's play on, and it might put Howell in a better position for the last lap of this race, sitting in third. Remember how that first race panned out in the last lap. I don't even know how they started, but they could have finished in about 20 different combinations. That top four, I think.
It was almost lucky that Howe wasn't sent straight into the pit lane, because where it happened was right on the pit lane entry, and thankfully didn't break the pit lane line as we're just catching.
There's a redress.
Vartanian is redressing back to Howe, so great call there by race control.
Did that. Did a brilliant point in the racetrack. That's so smart from Mario there. Up on the banking, so he loses a little bit of time, but he gets it back out of the bus stop. And both of them continue to close in on Sweeney, or rather they should do.
Yeah, might give him a little bit more of a gap this time as they come around turn 11 again. So we're just looking a little bit further back to Tim Conn and Matthew Spencer there, so nice and close racing from these two.
This is for fourth place. Nope, I'm looking further up. Tim Conn and Spencer are battling for what should be P9, maybe. I think Thomas Martin should rejoin behind them. John Schultz will rejoin in front of them, you would imagine. Jay Cool, by the way, and Cubby Williams. Jay Cool's in the battle for P4, currently sitting in 8th. Maybe a little bit off the back of that P4 battle. He's behind Contarino, who's about 2 seconds behind Vartanian, Howe, Sweeney. So it is a fourth place battle. 2 cars yet to pit, of course. By the way, John Schultz up at the front of the field is lapping quicker than everyone else. So being by himself is working pretty well right now. His gap is 40 seconds. Jay reckoned it's 42 seconds in the lane. Fastest pit stop of the day has been 41 seconds. So, John Schultz is going to pit on this lap. Here we go.
So almost all eyes are going to be on Mario Vartanian. Contarino will be that little bit further back, so we should see if Schultz can push it back out in front of that 77 car.
Maurice Howe's got ahead of Sweeney. He's now been caught and enveloped by Sweeney, by Howe, and Vartanian has Sweeney. This 3-car battle is surely going to become a 4-car battle if Schultz doesn't make a mistake on pit lane. Bump, bump, bump into the back of Howe. Doesn't get turned around this time, though.
Yeah, he's already had one pretty quick excursion off.
Schultz has made an error on pit road. I think, because he's dropped a little bit of time. Going to rejoin off the back of these guys. Got to make sure he stays within drafting range. He might be in a bit of danger here. There they are. He might just hang on. Especially if they hold each other up here.
Yeah, so if you're a Schultz, you'll almost be hoping that they're going to hold each other up in these tight corners here, just so he can latch onto the back. It does look like he's about, just by eye, about half a second there. So not too far back. We still have a few more laps to go, but
3 to go once he crosses the line at the end of this lap. Took me a very long time as a young fan growing up to figure out that being on lap 10 of 12 didn't mean 2 to go, as you would think through the concept of basic math. But in fact, 3 to go. I'm convinced it screwed me up in math class for some time watching
They're the grade
motorsport.
4 or grade 5 maths, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, grade 4, grade 5, that's when I got into motorsport, I think.
Addition and subtraction.
Having to add an extra lap whenever you do 12 minus 10, or something along those lines to work out how many to go, and then going to math class, doing the same and going, ah, crap, I got 5 minus 3 wrong. That's the gap that Schultz has got. He's not in range, I don't think. He needs these guys to hold each other up through the middle of the racetrack.
You can see him trailing just a little bit behind, so it does look like he's just missed out on that draft, which is pretty critical as they come through. But all changing positions now.
By the way, Contorino lost out to Jay Cool, so he's up into 5th from the back of the grid. This is tight. Nowhere to go for Vartanian. Sweeney runs wide. That'll allow Vartanian to pick up one of those spots, and Sweeney loses quite a chunk of time there. Gave Schultz half a second.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think that half a second will be enough to pull Schultz back on.
Should. So. He's a second behind Sweeney now. Wonder if J. Cool, Contorino can get there. Much like race 1, there's a group of cars 4 seconds off the lead with not many laps to go. Replay, that was Martin that we were looking at there. Distinguishable thanks to the bright orange car. And also Jack Patterson and Philip back at Sulis. What did they do down at turn 1? They were 3 wide, as you do. Did they make it through? They did. Good job. Back at Sulis. Cleaned up both of... Oh, no. He almost had a worldie of a move going on there. Until he didn't.
Yeah, it's great seeing these TCR cars, especially with that transition in turn 1. And you do see a lot of those GT3 cars.
He's hit him.
Sorry.
Vartanian gets into the back of Hal just a bit into the bus stop. Luckily, he gathered it up. Wasn't affected too much. Hello, John Schultz. Welcome to the party. 4-way battle for the race win.
Just seeing a DNF there by header Schultz.
Oh,
no.
Not again. This time he gets all the way turned around. Does Mario Vartanian. He does a 360. This time, he's going to lose the lead. Ding group. That's the 3rd time we've seen a car get turned up at the front of this field tonight. Finally, they go all the way around. And it was Sweeney into the back of him.
Just after this replay as well, just looking to the... that's pushed Jay Cool into 3rd, so from the back of the field. Could he be probably... 2 laps to go. Could he win this from last position?
Sweeney has redressed the position. Very awkwardly, I might say. They almost crashed again as he redressed that, but that's good stuff from Bailey. And I think his race might be done, in fact, as he goes straight on at turn 4 and into the fence as well. You saw in that replay how quickly the car went around. It just snapped. There was absolutely nothing he could have done to catch that. No reaction time possible there. That means it's now a 2-car battle for the race win. Reese Howell and John Schultz. J. Cool, Contorino, and Richard Hunter are 3.6 back. Vartanian sits 7th. Sweeney now back in the garage, which I think might escape from penalty because he didn't redress before he exited the race as well. If Howell and Schultz went side by side for a lap, those 3 behind would catch. Right now, Reese Howell needs to get himself, I think, out of the lead because with only 2 cars, there's no chance of chaos happening behind you to help you continue to lead the race all the way back to the start-finish line like Kobe Williams did in race 1.
Yeah, Schultz said leaving a little bit of a gap now to Reese Howell, so lining him up for this last lap. So will Schultz put in an aggressive maneuver on this last lap here?
For sure. Wait till we're back on the oval. Across the start-finish line. White flag. Final time around at Daytona tonight. The gap back to cool is 3.2. Last time by for Schultz, 58.4. 58.4 for cool. They won't get there on this last lap. Not unless something wacky and crazy happens in front of them. It is all on, though, for the final podium spot. Contarino looking high, getting left out to dry. As he looks for the crossover, can't quite get it. Might need to bide his time. Wait till back on the oval here.
Yeah, just send him rocket up through the straight here. So just on board here with Richard Hunter, looking at the back there of Contarino. So you can see that bar pretty banged up there of Contarino with the bump drafting he's been pulling on the oval. Just as they come around that right-hander now. Here they enter the oval section.
Onto the oval. John Schultz, about 2 car lengths behind. Reese Howe. I would wait till after the bus stop to make this move. Otherwise, Howe could get him back if he goes before the bus stop. He looks out and pushes the car out of the draft very early. Howe covers off the inside. Now, does he lift off to let Schultz go by? I think he tried, but it doesn't work. Into the bus stop. It's still Reese Howe from John Schultz up at the lead. How's the exit look? It's very even. It's all down to the slipstream now. For the top 2, Howe versus Schultz. Schultz looking for his first win in Aussie car competition. To the outside. Through 3 and 4 of the oval circuit. It's going to be a drag race to the start-finish line. Howe on the inside, Schultz on the outside. With the momentum, with the longer route to the line. Howe's coming back, but John Schultz got there, and Schultz wins the race.
Just seeing the last of that podium there, so it did look like Jake Cool did nail that one. So great work by Jake Cool coming from the back of the field, and we're just seeing a few more of the back markers come through, just as the fireworks come off. Oh, we've had
finishing in 7th. Hancock's run out of fuel and will cross the line in 12th. Side by side, Martin and one of the 111 esports cars. Martin won that battle. That was Stuart Crawford. And that's your race. Let's look at our race results then. At the end of race 2, winning margin 0.02 of a second from Schultz to Howe. The overcut strategy working beautifully for him. J. Cool coming home in 3rd after starting last. Might have got to the lead if it weren't for the drafting dependency of this track. Contarino finishing in 4th. Richard Hunter in 5th. Kobe Williams and Mario Vartanian both went for a spin today. Rather, Williams went for a slowdown. Vartanian went for a spin. They finished 6th and 7th after a strong opening race and qualifying performance. Matthew Spencer in 8th. Tim Corn in 9th. Cameron Thornton home in 10th.
Just missing out on a top 10, Ira Felberg, Dennis Hancock, Philip Bakasoulis, Thomas Martin, Stuart Crawford making up a few positions after that spin earlier on, Jack Patterson and Isaac Edwards of our finishing cars, DNFs with Bailey Sweeney and Daniel Heddershall.
Let's have a chat then to our race-winning driver, John Schultz. Congratulations, first race win in Aussie car competition. Stellar drive.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, it was a good drive. Bad pit stop, but everything else seemed to go okay.
It did. That pit stop, you went for the overcut there, stayed out by yourself. I thought at the time being by yourself was going to be a disadvantage, but Jay highlighted behind the scenes for us that you were one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, and it seemed to work out quite well for you.
Man, that felt like the pace in draft was, maybe 0.3 of a second faster. But guys were holding each other up in the bus stop, so, I thought I'd go long. But I overshot my pit box, so probably cost me a second there.
Yeah, I did see a little bit slow on the lane. Either way, recovered well. Heading into that last lap, we saw you tucking out of the draft. Definitely, it was key to be second heading out of the bus stop, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in a car 3, you want to be number 3. In a car 2, you want to be number 2. It's just a draft track, so yeah, it was all strategy at the end.
Have fun in race 1 as well.
Should have gone for a more ballsy move at the end, but yeah, I was happy with P4 in race 1.
Hey, who you want to thank for helping you get up in the leading group and winning the race in race 2?
I mean, just you guys, good little race series that you have going on here. It's a lovely car. And as well to my team, Team Milo. Go Milo.
Hey, thank you very much. Congratulations. Go and celebrate that one. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, boys.
That was John Schultz coming home with the race win. Jay Cool, who came home third in race 1, he came home third in race 2. Doesn't matter where you start, you're going to finish third, Jay.
Yeah, definitely.
What happened in qualifying then? You had qualified last. Was it intentional? Was it a mistake?
I'm not sure. My second lap didn't count for some reason, even though I didn't go off the track or anything. Then the last lap I ran out of fuel. So.
No. Ooh. Yeah, that explains why you were slowing at the end of that lap. So starting 18th put you on the back foot, but it was a good drive through the field. How did you find it? Trying to come from the back, trying to break away from people in the draft and through the pit stop strategy and all that.
It was pretty good fun, actually. I reckon I made most of my ground up in the first lap. I made so many risks on the outside and it paid off.
Plus 10 on lap 1.
Yeah.
A good drive. Obviously, you were 3.4 away from the top 2 in the end, and you were gifted a couple spots thanks to some mistakes up at the top, such as Vartanian getting yeeted from the leading group at a rapid rate of knots. But it's a good job to start last and recover well. What about race 1, where you started up at the front, still finished third, but the last lap was very dicey, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was. There's no room to pass on the last lap, so I just went down the apron, but probably wasn't the best idea.
Was it legal?
I don't think it was, but I didn't gain anything, so...
So you're hoping to avoid a penalty?
Yeah.
We'll see that one comes out in the wash. Either way, double podium is nothing to be ashamed at. And it's what you need, because you're not exactly high up in the championship, bizarrely, after 2 rounds. Given the closeness of our championship point system, it might be difficult for you to get up to the championship lead, but what are your sights set on?
I'm not sure what the points are now, but hopefully top 10-ish maybe, because I missed the first round.
Oh, yeah. That explains it. Well, I reckon with that pace, you might just get there. Who do you want to thank for helping you get it done today?
Prologue, definitely, for their great setup. Everybody for that great fun racing. Shamik Racing. Yeah, that's about it.
Hey, well, thank you for joining us, Jay. Good that there's actually a good Jay in the community. And go and celebrate that one. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Final thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, such exciting racing, and I'm already counting the hours now to Belle Isle, which is on next week. So
I forgot what we had next week. Belle Isle.
Mate,
wow.
I'm one step ahead of you. So yeah, we've got Belle Isle, Ring Motegi, and then Bathurst running at the championship. But yeah, all eyes are on Belle Isle. That's some pretty tight racing. I think that'll be it for a little bit for the big draft tracks like Watkins Glen and Daytona. So
yeah. Well,
yeah,
we do
have Bathurst, which is drafting. Yeah,
Conrod. Going to be exciting for a whole other reason next week. Make sure you tune in to see these Audi TCRs beat and bang their way around the bumpy streets of Belle Isle. But for tonight, for this broadcast, we say goodbye. Stay with us in 20 minutes. We're going live again for Hard and Fast on Simspeed YouTube and Facebook. So stay tuned for that. But for myself, Ryan Jones, Nick, alongside me, and Jake Kennedy behind the scenes, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rid of the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my god! Oh! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, here we go. Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?